बजारको चिरफार।
अब गरौँ बजारको प्राविधिक चिरफार। हामीले बजारको प्राविधिक चिरफारमा नेप्से अघिल्लो हप्ता कस्तो रह्यो र अब आउने हप्ता कस्तो हुन सक्छ भन्ने कुरा गर्ने गरेका छौँ। साधारणतया यो हप्ता हामीले हेर्छौँ भने अघिल्लो हप्ता जब बजार अलिकति लडखडाएको थियो, एउटा सप्लाईको जोनमा आइसकेपछि बजार रोकिएको थियो, त्यसपछि बजारले फेरि पनि माथिल्लो यात्रा तय गरेको छ। लास्ट 4वटा ट्रेडिङ डेमा 4वटै दिन ग्रीन क्यान्डल बनेको छ र यदि हामीले बोलिन्जर ब्यान्डलाई हेर्छौँ भने बोलिन्जर ब्यान्डको अप्पर ब्यान्डलाई समातेर बजार माथि गइरहेको छ, अझै पनि अप्पर ब्यान्डलाई छोडेको छैन र अझै पनि बुलिस यात्रा चलिरहेको छ भन्न सकिने आधारहरू बनेका छन्। र यदि हामीले विकली टाइम फ्रेममा हेर्छौँ भने एउटा ठुलो माराबोजु क्यान्डल हामीले देख्न सक्छौँ र लामो समयदेखि यो क्यान्डलको प्रतीक्षामा हामी थियौँ पनि होला र बजार बढ्न नसकिरहेको अवस्थामा बजारले यो हप्ता भने निकै पोजिटिभ सेन्टिमेन्ट देखाएको छ र अझ मौद्रिक नीतिको समीक्षापछि यो आउनुले बजार अब राम्रै हुनेछ, अर्थात् बजारमा एउटा नयाँ र्याली आउन सक्छ भन्ने आधार बनेको छ। र अझै पनि हामीले विकली क्यान्डल हेऱ्यौँ भने हामीसँग सप्लाई जोनभन्दा अझै पनि बजार तल नै छ। र अर्को तरिकाले यदि हामीले बजारमा डिफ्रेन्ट इन्डिकेटरहरू लगाएर हेर्छौँ भने सुरुमा हामी एमएसडी हेरौँ। एमएसडी हामीले हेर्दाखेरिमा के देखिन्छ भने एमएसडी अझै पनि बुलिस नै देखिन्छ, हिस्टोग्रामहरू अझै पनि पोजिटिभ नै छन् र यो किसिमले हामीले बजारलाई हेर्दा अझै पनि बाई सिग्नल नै भ्यालिड भइरहेको कुरा हामीले क्लियरली देख्न सक्छौँ। बोलिन्जर ब्यान्ड पनि अहिलेसम्म झरिसकेको छैन, बोलिन्जर ब्यान्डको अप्पर ब्यान्डलाई समातेर हिँडिरहँदा बजार अझै पनि सप्लाई जोनमा पुगेको छैन वा बेच्ने समय भइसकेको छैन भन्ने खालका कुराहरू यहाँबाट देख्न सक्छौँ। र अर्को अवस्थामा हामीले आरएसआईलाई हेर्छौँ भने आरएसआई अहिले करिब 70 भन्दा माथि छ र अहिले न्यू इन्ट्रीको लागि चाहिँ यो अलिकति रिस्की हुनसक्छ किनकि आरएसआई 75 भन्दा माथि पुगिसकेको छ। तर बजारलाई यदि हामीले हेर्छौँ भने बजार निकै स्ट्रोङ देखियो। 60 भन्दा माथि यदि आरएसआई छ भने त्यसलाई हामीले पोजिटिभली लिने गरेका छौँ। बजारमा यदि हामीले भोल्युम एनालाइसिसलाई हेर्छौँ भने यो हप्ता निकै इन्ट्रेस्टिङ कुरा के देखिन्छ भने जब बजार यसरी बढिरहेको अवस्थामा छ तब भोल्युम पनि सिग्निफिकेन्ट तरिकाले बढिरहेको अवस्था छ। मतलब बजार बढ्नुलाई लगानीकर्ताहरूले पनि सपोर्ट गरिरहेका छन्, अर्थात् लगानीकर्ताको पार्टिसिपेसन पनि बिस्तारै बजारमा बढ्दै गइरहेको छ। र के पनि भन्न सकिन्छ भने नेपाली सेयर बजार यसरी बढिरहँदा लगानीकर्ताहरू पनि आकर्षित भइरहेका छन् भन्ने कुरा चार्ट प्याटर्नमा पनि मजाले क्लियरली देखिन्छ। तर अहिलेको समयमा नेप्से बढेको वा नबढेको भन्दा पनि डिफ्रेन्ट सेक्टर बढिरहेको हामीले अवस्था देख्न सक्छौँ र डिफ्रेन्ट सेक्टरमा राम्रो खालको मुभको साथसाथमा डिफ्रेन्ट अपर्च्युनिटीहरू पनि क्रिएट भइरहेको हुनाले हामीले के भन्दै आइरहेका छौँ भने बजारलाई हेरिरहँदा इन्डेक्स मात्रै नहेर्नु होला, तपाईँले डिफ्रेन्ट सेक्टरलाई पनि हेर्ने गर्नुहोला भनेर हामीले भनिरहेका छौँ। त्यसरी अब हामी लागौँ सेक्टर एनालाइसिसतिर। डिफ्रेन्ट सेक्टरमा के कस्तो चाम देखिएको छ, के कस्ता आधारहरू बनेका छन् त ती कुरालाई आउनुहोस् निहालेर हेरौँ। यो हप्ता डिफ्रेन्ट सेक्टरहरूलाई हामीले हेर्छौँ भने त्यो मध्ये मलाई सबैभन्दा इन्ट्रेस्टिङ लागेको सेक्टर हो कमर्सियल ब्याङ्क। र कमर्सियल ब्याङ्कमा हामीले लामो समयदेखि कतिचोटि त हामीले चार्ट पनि हेरिरहेका थिएनौँ। के भनेका थियौँ भने लामो समयदेखि ब्याङ्किङ सेक्टर बेयरिस अवस्थामा छ र त्यसले खासै राम्रो पर्फर्म गर्न सकिरहेको छैन भनिरहँदा यो हप्ता भने सबैलाई अचम्म बनाउने गरी ब्याङ्किङ सेक्टर बढेर गएको छ। यो हप्ता सर्वाधिक बढ्नेमा ब्याङ्किङ सेक्टर नै छ र यदि हामीले ब्याङ्किङ सेक्टरलाई हेर्छौँ भने यो समयमा यो रेन्जतिर लामो समयदेखि खेलिसकेपछि जब यो दिन यो बोलिन्जर ब्यान्डको मिडल ब्यान्डलाई यसले ब्रेक गर्यो त्यसपछि एउटा खालको इन्ट्रेस्ट लगानीकर्ताहरूले यो सेक्टरमा देखाएका थिए। त्यसपछि पनि 3 दिन साइडवेज गयो र त्यसपछि भने उसको रकेटमय यात्रा त्यहाँबाट सुरु भयो र यसरी बढिरहँदा यसले रेसिस्टेन्सहरूलाई पनि सजिलै ब्रेक गरिरहेको छ र सप्लाई जोनमा पुगेर पनि ब्याङ्कको खासै सप्लाई नआइरहेको अवस्था हामीले देखिरहेका छौँ। र यो हप्ताको 4वटै ट्रेडिङ डेमा हामीले ब्याङ्किङ सेक्टरमा पोजिटिभ खालको मुभ देख्न पायौँ र 4वटै दिन बिना करेक्सन हामीले एउटा खालको राइज ब्याङ्किङ सेक्टरमा हामीले देखेका थियौँ। र यो अवस्थाबाट हेर्दाखेरिमा जब यसले यो करिब 2140 तिरको एउटा सप्लाई जोनलाई ब्रेक गरेर माथि गएको छ। अब भने त्यसको सप्लाई जोन करिब 1244 वा 1230 देखि 1240 सम्मको रेन्जलाई मान्न सकिन्छ। त्यसरी हामीले बजारलाई हेर्दाखेरिमा बैंकिङ सेक्टर बढ्न अझै पनि स्पेस छ र एउटा खालको राइज अझै पनि बैंकिङ सेक्टरमा आउने देखिन्छ। तर एउटा कुरा महत्त्वपूर्ण छ, त्यो हो बिना करेक्सन यसरी 4 दिनसम्म लस्करै माथि बढिरहँदा बैंकिङ सेक्टरमा एउटा खालको करेक्सन आउँछ कि भन्ने एक्सपेक्ट पनि छ। त्यो कुरालाई नि सोचेर लगानी गर्नु होला। अब न्यू इन्ट्री गर्दा चाहिँ अलिकति गाह्रो अवस्था पर्न सक्छ, तर अलरेडी तपाईले इन्ट्री गरिसक्नु भएको छ, तपाईसँग होल्डिङ छ भने बेचिहाल्नु पर्ने अवस्था भने आइसकेको छैन। जबसम्म यो रेन्ज भन्दा तल झर्दैन, करिब 1040 को रेन्ज भन्दा तल झर्दैन, तबसम्म बेचिहाल्नु पर्ने अवस्था छैन। तर एउटा खालको करेक्सन एक्सपेक्ट गर्न सकिने अवस्थाहरू भने बैंकिङ सेक्टरमा बनिरहेको छ। र अर्को सेक्टर यदि तपाईले हेर्नुहुन्छ भने अर्को सेक्टर हो डेभलपमेन्ट बैंक। डेभलपमेन्ट बैंकमा पनि एउटा खालको राइज हामीले लङ टर्मबाट देखि नै रहेका छौं र डेभलपमेन्ट बैंकलाई लामो समयमा हामीले के भनेका थियौं भने हायर हाई बनाउँदै गइरहेको अवस्थामा नयाँ हायर हाई बन्न सक्छ है भनेर अघिल्लो बजारको चिरफारमा हामीले भनेका थियौं। र अहिलेको समयमा हामीले हेर्छौं भने अहिले करिब यो हप्ताभरि नै साइडवेज रहेको छ। माथिल्लो रेन्जमा गएर साइडवेज बसेको अवस्थाले अझै घटिहाल्छ भन्ने अवस्था देखाएको छैन। लगानीकर्ताहरू बेच्नका लागि तयार भइसकेको छैन। तर एउटा कुरा के हो भने नजिकै सप्लाई जोन पनि छ। त्यो सप्लाई जोनलाई यदि ब्रेक गर्छ भने नयाँ हायर हाई बनाउने चान्स बढी नै छ र यो सप्लाई जोनलाई ब्रेक गरेर माथि जान्छ भने बोलिन्जर ब्यान्डको माथिल्लो रेन्जलाई पकडेर अझ माथि जान सक्ने सम्भावनाहरू देखिन्छ। र डेभलपमेन्ट बैंक हालसाललाई नेगेटिभ केही पनि छैन, तर पनि बाइ चान्स यो रेन्ज भन्दा 40-60 भन्दा पनि तल आउन थाल्यो भने चाहिँ तपाईहरुले सोच्नुपर्ने हुन्छ। 4060 भन्दा तल आउन थाल्यो भने चाहिँ अब सेल गर्ने हो कि भनेर सोच्नुपर्छ। तर अहिले नै बेचिहाल्नु पर्ने अवस्था छैन। तर यदि तपाईले न्यू बाइङ पोजिसन लिन चाहनुहुन्छ भने अब यो करेक्सन यदि यो रेन्जसम्म करेक्सन आयो भने 40-60 को रेन्जमा करेक्सन आउँछ र त्यहाँबाट फर्किने परिदृश्यहरू त्यहाँ देखिन्छ भने तपाईले बाइ पोजिसन लिन सक्नुहुन्छ। यदि इन्सुरेन्स सेक्टर हामीले हेर्छौं भने त्यसमा पनि नन लाइफलाई हामीले हेर्छौं भने लामो समयदेखि बढ्न नसकिरहँदा लास्ट विक चाहिँ केही राम्रो खालको राइज हामीले बिस्तारै देखेका थियौं। पहिलो ट्रेडिङ डेमा राम्रो राइज त देखियो, तर त्यसलाई खासै धान्न सकेको अवस्था हामीले देखेनौं, किनकि त्यसपछिको 3वटा दिन भने एउटै रेन्जमा भनौं न इन्डिसिजन तरिकाले चाहिँ खेलिरहेको अवस्था हामीले देख्न सक्छौं। र अब भने करिब एउटा सप्लाई जोनमा पुगिसकेर त्यहाँबाट झरिरहेको हुनाले करिब 11077 तिरको एउटा सप्लाई जोनबाट झरिरहेको हुनाले र त्यसपछि पनि नजिकै सप्लाई जोन छ। अर्को सप्लाई जोन हामीले यो रेन्जतिर देख्न सक्छौं। 11500 को रेन्जतिर पनि अर्को सप्लाई जोन भएको हुनाले हामीले नन लाइफमा चाहिँ खासै एउटा भर्खरै र्याली आइहाल्ला भन्ने खालका कुराहरू हामीले देखेका छैनौं। तर एउटा खालको करेक्सन आइरहँदा करिब बोलिन्जर ब्यान्डको मिडल रेन्जबाट फर्किन्छ कि भन्ने आधारहरू हामी देख्न सक्छौं। यदि त्यहाँबाट फर्किने खालका कुनै पनि एस्पेक्टहरू हामीले देख्यौं भने त्यहाँनिर हामीले नयाँ इन्ट्री लिन सक्छौं। तर हालसालको लागि भने नन लाइफमा हामीले खासै चाम भने देखेका छैनौं। उता लाइफ पनि हेर्छौं भने करिब उही सिनारियो छ। नजिक नै डिफरेन्ट खालका ब्यारियरहरू छन्, अर्थात् सप्लाई जोन नजिकै छ र फेरि पनि त्यो सप्लाई जोनबाट सप्लाई आउने खालको कुरा हामीले देखेका छौं। र नन लाइफ र लाइफ दुईटैमा अहिले भने खासै स्ट्रेन्थ नदेखेको हुनाले हामीले त्यो सेक्टर भने खासै रिकमेन्ड गरिरहेको अवस्था छैन। अघिल्लो हप्ता राम्रो चाम देखाएको एउटा सेक्टर हो फाइनान्स, र त्यो फाइनान्सले चाहिँ यो हप्ता भने खासै राम्रो परफर्म गर्न सकेको अवस्था देखिदैन। र यो हप्ताको करिब एउटा ट्रेडिङ डेमा मात्रै राम्रो तरिकाले बढेको थियो। त्यो दिन बढ्दाखेरिमा एउटा राम्रो तरिकाले फाइनान्स फेरि पनि बढ्छ र हायर हाई बनाउँछ कि भन्ने खालको एक्सपेक्ट देखिएको थियो। तर भोलिपल्ट नै त्यसले भने आफ्नो दिशा गुमाएको, अर्थात् फेरि पनि करेक्सनतिर लागेको हो कि भन्ने खालको परिवेश हामीले यहाँ देखिरहेका छौं। हिजो राम्रो करेक्सन आएको हामीले यहाँ देख्न सक्छौं र करिब यो एउटा हाईलाई यसले ब्रेक गर्न नसकिरहेको अवस्थामा यदि यो झरेर फेरि पनि करिब यो रेन्जतिर आउँछ भने त्यो भने नयाँ खतराको घण्टी हुन सक्छ। त्यो भन्दा तल जाने एक्सपेक्ट देख्नुभयो भने तपाईहरु त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ सेल पोजिसन लिन सक्नुहुन्छ। हालसालै बाइ वा सेल गर्नुपर्ने अवस्था भने त्यहाँ केही पनि देखिएको छैन। तर यदि यो रेन्जलाई ब्रेक गरेर तल जान्छ भने तपाईसँग यदि होल्डिङ छ भने त्यो रिस्की हुन सक्छ, त्यसकारण तपाईले सेल गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ। र टेक्निकली हेर्दाखेरिमा यसमा फाइनान्समा राम्रो चाम हामीले लास्ट 2 विकमा देखेका हौं र अहिले भने त्यो चाम अलिकति घटेको हो कि भन्ने खालका कुरा यहाँ मजाले क्लियरली देख्न सकिन्छ। बितेको 2 हप्तामा निकै चार्मिङ सेक्टरको रूपमा मानिएको एउटा सेक्टर हो फाइनान्स सेक्टर। र यदि हामीले फाइनान्स सेक्टर हेर्छौँ भने फाइनान्स सेक्टरभित्र पनि डिफ्रेन्ट कम्पनीहरूले भने फेनोमेनल रिटर्न दिइसकेको अवस्था हामीले देख्न सक्छौँ। र यसरी फाइनान्स इन्डेक्सलाई हामीले हेरिरहँदा चाहिँ के देखिन्छ भने एउटा खालको करेक्सन एक्सपेक्टेड छ कि अब चाँडै नै एउटा खालको करेक्सन आउँदैछ कि भन्ने खालका कुराहरू भने चार्टमा क्लियरली देखिन्छ। र जसरी यो हाईलाई यसले ब्रेक गर्न नसकिरहेको अवस्थामा यो ट्रेडिङ डेमा मात्र एक दिन मात्रै पोजिटिभ भइरहँदा के देखिन्छ भने अब चाँडै नै यो पोइन्टलाई ब्रेक गरेर तल जान्छ कि भन्ने खालको आधार हामीले यहाँ देख्न सक्छौँ। र यदि तपाईँसँग होल्डिङ छ भने यो सेक्टरमा आइसकिसकेपछि फेरि पनि यहाँनिर चाहिँ एउटा लेभलको साइडवेज गएर त्यसपछि माथि जाने आधार बन्यो भने तपाईँले बाई पोजिसनहरू लिन सक्नुहुन्छ। तर यो रेन्जमा यो एउटा डिमान्ड जोनलाई ब्रेक गर्छ र योभन्दा तल जाने खालका एस्पेक्टहरू देख्नुभयो भने त्यसपछि भने तपाईँले आफ्नो सेलिङ स्ट्राटेजी अगाडि बढाउन सक्नुहुन्छ। र हालसालमा यसलाई यदि हामीले हेऱ्यौँ भने मात्र एक दिन यो बढ्न खोजिरहेको अवस्थामा पनि त्यसलाई भोलिपल्ट नधानेको हुनाले हामीले के देख्छौँ भने यसमा भने केही नेगेटिभ सेन्टिमेन्ट अबको केही दिनमा बन्ने छन् कि भन्ने खालको कुराहरू चार्ट प्याटर्नले देखाएको छ। लगानीकर्ताहरूले निकै रुचाएको अर्को सेक्टर हो माइक्रो फाइनान्स। र माइक्रो फाइनान्समा हामीले हेर्छौँ भने लामो समयदेखि यसमा एउटा खालको राइज आइ नै रहेको छ। र यसमा हामीले के भनेका थियौँ भने हरेक करेक्सन एउटा नयाँ इन्ट्रीको लागि एउटा अपर्च्युनिटी हो भनेर हामीले अघिल्लो हप्ताको बजारको चिरफारमा पनि भनेका थियौँ। र लङ टर्मको एउटा रेसिस्टेन्सलाई ब्रेक गरेर माथि गइसकेपछि पनि कन्टिन्युअस ग्रोथ हामीले यसमा देख्न सक्छौँ। र यो हप्ता के भयो त भनेर यदि हामीले हेर्छौँ भने माइक्रो फाइनान्स यो हप्ता माथिल्लो रेन्जमा गएर साइडवेज बसेको अवस्था हामीले देख्न सक्छौँ। चारवटै ट्रेडिङ डेमा यहाँनिर साइडवेज बसेको छ र केही खालको नेगेटिभ क्यान्डलहरू पनि हामीले त्यहाँनिर देख्न सक्छौँ। र यसरी हेर्दाखेरिमा अझै पनि केही स्पेस त बाँकी छ माइक्रो फाइनान्सको लागि नयाँ सप्लाई जोनमा पुग्नका लागि। तर पनि के देखिन्छ भने लामो समयदेखि कन्टिन्युअस बढिरहेको हुँदा एउटा खालको करेक्सन आएर फेरि त्यसपछि बढ्ने हो कि भन्ने खालको आधार हामीले यहाँनिर देख्न सक्छौँ। त्यसरी एउटा खालको करेक्सन आयो भने त्यो पनि एउटा बाइङ अपर्च्युनिटी हुनसक्छ किनकि माइक्रो फाइनान्समा स्टिल चाम देखिन्छ। र त्यसपछि पनि एउटा राइज आउन सक्ने प्रोबेबिलिटी भने हामीले देखिरहेका छौँ माइक्रो फाइनान्समा। यदि हामीले होटल सेक्टरलाई हेर्छौँ भने अघिल्लो हप्ता भने बढ्न खोजेको थियो, एक दिन बढेको पनि थियो, तर त्यसलाई भने भोलिपल्टबाट धान्न सकेन र फेरि पनि एउटा खालको करेक्सन होटल सेक्टरमा हामीले देखेका थियौँ अघिल्लो विकको कुरा गर्दा। तर यो विक भने एउटा खालको पोजिटिभ सेन्टिमेन्ट अलिकति होटलमा बिल्ड भइरहेको अवस्था भने हामीले देख्न सक्छौँ। बिस्तारै बिस्तारै सानो सानो राइज गर्दै होटल सेक्टरमा पनि बिस्तारै चाम आउन लागेको हो कि भन्ने आधारहरू हामीले देख्न सक्छौँ। अहिले पनि बोलिन्जर ब्यान्डको मिडल ब्यान्डभन्दा माथि नै छ र यसले बिस्तारै अप्पर ब्यान्डलाई टच गरेर अप्पर ब्यान्डसँगै माथि बढ्ने आधारहरू यहाँनिर क्लियरली देख्न सक्छौँ। र यो हिसाबले हेऱ्यो भने लामो समय भइसक्यो होटल सेक्टर बढ्न नसकेको र त्यो हिसाबलाई पनि हामीले यदि इन्टिग्रेट गर्छौँ भने अब होटलको पनि पालो हो कि भन्ने खालका कुराहरू चार्टबाट मजाले देखिन्छ। र यदि हामीले म्यानुफ्याक्चरिङ सेक्टरलाई हेर्छौँ भने र अन्तिममा यदि हामीले म्यानुफ्याक्चरिङ सेक्टरलाई हेर्छौँ भने म्यानुफ्याक्चरिङ सेक्टरमा अझै पनि त्यस्तो चाम केही पनि देखिएको छैन र अघिल्लो हप्ता करिब डिमान्ड जोनमा पुगिसकेपछि एउटा खालको सानो राइज हामीले देखेका थियौँ। तर त्यसलाई पनि बजारले खासै रेस्पेक्ट गर्न सकेन र नजिकैको सप्लाई जोनबाट फेरि पनि एउटा खालको करेक्सन आइरहेको अवस्था म्यानुफ्याक्चरिङ सेक्टरमा देखिरहेका छौँ। र यो कुरालाई पनि तपाईँले हेरेर लगानी गर्ने आफ्नो स्ट्राटेजी बनाउनु होला। करिब बजारको सम्पूर्ण प्राविधिक चिरफार गरिरहँदा हामीले के देख्यौँ भने केही सेक्टरहरू बढ्न आँटेका छन्, केही सेक्टर भने बढिसकेका छन् र केही सेक्टर भने करिब करेक्सनको फेजमा पुगिसकेका छन्।
बजारको चिरफार।
If we have further time left, we can take in more questions from the floors. So thank you once again, everyone, for joining us today. Let's make this session very informative and engaging. Now, I think Nazmus, I guess you are the first person speaking today, right, sir?
Yes.
So just a brief introduction about our speaker one. Mohammad Nazmus Saqib has been working as a sell-side equity analyst since May 2017. Saqib specializes in bank, consumer, and macroeconomy. He also has experience in covering construction and building materials and automobile sectors. Prior to joining UCB, Saqib worked as an analyst at EBL Securities Limited. Saqib completed his BBA specializing in banking and insurance from University of Dhaka. Over to you, Saqib sir. We're all looking forward to an entertaining session.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Srivastav. It's a great pleasure to join this, collaboration. So what I'll do is I'll present about Bangladesh economy and capital market. So basically what we'll do is looking at the salient features of Bangladesh economy that has a lot of influence over the capital market performance and the development. And then I'll give a snapshot of the capital market structure. And then my colleague, Mr. Onik Mahmood, will continue of the presentation by discussing about the trading process and other aspects of the stock market investment. So what I'll do is, first of all, I'll give you a snapshot of the economy. So basically, if you look at Bangladesh is located in the South Asian region. We share the borders with India, Myanmar, Nepal, and we also, southern part is our Bay of Bengal. So Bangladesh is situated in a strategic location. There is a location advantages there. And also we have a land area of a very small land area, as you can see on the screen, and we have a very dense population. And also we have a very young population, which we call demographic dividend, because young population is there. So that means that we have a very high working age population who actually contributes a lot to the economy and also is a big part of the consumer sector as well. So what makes Bangladesh economy growing? So if you look at Bangladesh economy's growth, you'll see that we have been, as a country, Bangladesh has been growing at a 6 to 7% real GDP growth rate, which is very strong and stable. So this growth is actually, have been very impressive in a sense that there are very few economies that has been enjoying such a strong real GDP growth rate. And what actually makes this growth
So sorry to interrupt.
driving?
Your screen is not
Yeah,
visible.
sure.
Can you just share the screen once again?
Okay. Let me just.
Perfect, sir. Now it's just come now.
Okay, it's visible, right?
Right.
Okay. So what I was talking about is, so what are the drivers of this impressive growth? So basically, our economy is dependent on few specific sector. One of the sector is RMG, ready-made garments. As you can see, is that our export. Sorry, I think there are some noise. Sorry.
I request everyone to kindly put your audio on mute, please.
Yeah, thank you. So as I was saying that RMG is a big sector of the economy, and our export that we do is 80% is coming from the RMG sector. And a large population of our country is employed by the ready-made garment sector. So this has been a major driver. If we, segmentize the industry, the ready-made garments has been a big growth driver of the economy. It has been a big growth driver. And if you look at our, demography, as I said, that we have a very young population, a very strong working age population, that will also help foster the growth in the coming decades as well, because this young population will sustain, that will join the workforce and also will contribute to the economy. And one interesting part of Bangladesh economy is that density dividend that we don't talk much about, but it has been a very strong driver. So I'll just emphasize what density dividend is. So we have a very dense population, right? We usually take it as a negative aspect of an economy, but the density is actually very beneficial for our economic growth. The reason is, let's say, if I give a very simple example, let's say a restaurant want to open an operation, and it sets up in a, let's say, local settings. And once they set up, they usually get a lot of customers within that area. So that density actually helps them a lot in, get that start and also get a good investment return out of it. And also, if I give you an example as a company aspect, for instance, let's say Grameenphone. Grameenphone is a leading telecommunication operator in Bangladesh, and it's a company owned by Telenor Group. So Telenor Group has a lot of operations around the world, but Grameenphone, which is owned by Telenor in Bangladesh, is the most profitable operations that they have all over the world. One of the main reason is that there is a dense population in Bangladesh. So once they build a tower, they get a lot of customers under that tower coverage. So they get a very strong return from that investment. So this is one of the interesting aspect of Bangladesh economy. For instance, let's say we built a very large bridge recently that connects Dhaka with the southern part. Dhaka is the capital city of Bangladesh. So that bridge has actually affected a lot of population in Dhaka and also in the southern part. So that density or that proximity of population actually helps the companies generate a good return if that investment is managed wisely. That's a very strong element of our economy. And also our economy is pretty much balanced in the sense that our export and remittance cover almost 100% of the import, or more than 100%, slightly above 100% of the import. So this is also, if you look at our history, you would see that our current account balance, the external balance, the current account balance has been in a very balanced situation for last decades, because once is that our export is very growing at a very good rate, and also we have a very large remittance inflow from Middle East, US, and EU. That actually helps build our reserves a lot. So let's say, and also I want to mention that whenever we talk to our foreign clients, foreign institutional clients, when we talk about our remittance sizes, the remittance that we receive in a year is around more than 20 billion US dollar. So whenever they hear about that remittance size, they always get surprised, because this is very rare in the most economies, that you are getting a large portion of your reserve coming from the remittance form. Even though our FDI is low, foreign direct investment is very low compared to our peer economies, but our remittance covers up that gap. Obviously, we hope that our FDI will come in, but remittance has been a very strong driver as well. And our debt to GDP ratio is pretty much at a stable level. IMF also, International Monetary Fund, World Bank recognizes that and put our economy at a low risk segment, because our debt to GDP ratio is very low. So for instance, our foreign debt to GDP ratio is 21%, which is very low compared to peer economies. So that's pretty much about our economic landscape. And also, if I talk about the outlook of the economy, there is a few reports that suggest that we'll become a 9th largest consumer market by 2030, and our middle and affluent class of consumer will grow to 34 million population. So 34 million of MAC population is a huge number. And also our GDP is mostly driven by, for now, it's driven by household consumption. And in the next is investment, and then government expenditure and net exports. So what we anticipate is that our investment part of the GDP composition will grow in the future as more and more industries come in. So far, I have been, talking about all the positive aspects of the economy, but obviously there are not always a smooth ride. We definitely have, sometimes we do have volatility. For instance, for now, we are facing some challenges regarding Forex reserve, because in the post-COVID period, our import went up very high. And also we faced a lot of, volatility externally and also locally. So our currency depreciated at a very high rate in the last 2 years. Around 30% of our currency depreciated because of the Forex reserve depletion. And also our inflation went up. Since our exchange rate went up, and also the commodity prices has been going up in the overall international market, our inflation is also going up, and our interest rate has gone up as well as inflation went up. So for now, we are definitely facing few challenges, and for that we have entered into the IMF program for the loan so that we can build our reserve. And also they have set up some reform measures that we are undergoing. For instance, they have told us to make the interest rate, exchange rate market driven, so that there is no further shock that we have to receive. So we are central bank is our Bangladesh Bank is our central bank. So they are taking few measures to control the inflation, and also they are trying to make the exchange rate market driven, so that our economy again resumes to a stable situation. So once we deal with these challenges, I think the economy should move to its natural course again, as we have seen in the last decade that the growth has been very strong. That will again continue once we take these reform measures. Let's move on to the capital market of Bangladesh. I'll give a brief snapshot and also overall structure of our capital market. We can't talk about capital market without the economy. So I hope that you get an idea of the structure of our economy. And now we'll move on to the capital market of Bangladesh. So if you look at our capital market institutions, there are two stock exchanges, Dhaka Stock Exchange and Chittagong Stock Exchange. But Dhaka Stock Exchange is the prime bourse of the Bangladesh capital market, where most of the transaction happen, and it is and the capital market is regulated by Bangladesh Securities and Exchange Commission. There are 250 plus stock brokers, but only top 10 or top 15 control most of the market. And UCB, the company that I work in and I represent, is the leading brokerage houses in Bangladesh. And there are also around 15 asset managers, and there are 30 investment bankers. So these are the overall stakeholders of the capital market Bangladesh. So Dhaka Stock Exchange, Chittagong Stock Exchange is the place where we can trade the stocks and debt securities, few debt securities, and it is regulated by Bangladesh Securities and Exchange Commission. And asset managers, there are a few asset managers who issues mutual funds that investors can participate in, and also investors can obviously buy stocks themselves through the brokerage houses in the Dhaka Stock Exchange platform. And there are investment bankers who provide the underwriting, issue management. When a company wants to do an initial public offering, they go to investment bankers, and investment bankers manage all that procedure. So that is the overall institutional structure. And if you look at the capital market size, the total capital market is $59 billion, 59 billion US dollar. And it is consisted of equity and debt securities. So equity is the major part, 34 billion US dollar, and debt is 26 billion dollar. I should mention that in the debt securities, it is mostly the treasury securities that has been listed recently, but the trading of the treasury securities is still very low. So it is mostly driven by equity instruments. So basically, all the turnover that you see on the DSE and CSE is mostly driven by these equity instruments. And our market cap to GDP ratio is around 14%, which we deem as very low compared to our peer countries. So we feel that we have a very large and immense opportunities, to grow from here. Since our market cap to GDP ratio is very low, we have a lot of potential for the growth in capital market in the coming years. And if we look at the market cap composition in terms of sectors, you will see that bank is the leading contributor in the market cap, then comes pharmaceutical, and then comes telecoms. So bank, pharma, and telecom, they contribute around 42% of the market cap. So they are the largest sectors listed in this capital market equity instruments. And if you look at other segments as well, there are engineering, fuel and power, food and allied, all these sectors as well, which have significant contribution, but these three sectors dominate the market cap. And if we look at the average daily turnover I have mentioned it in USD terms so that anyone can understand in a common currency, you will see that there is some volatility, right? If you look at 2021, there was a huge turnover. And the reason was that back then we had a very expansionary monetary policy. Our interest rates were very low, and our institutions and also individuals had a lot of liquidity. Individuals had lots of disposable income. Inflation was also low. So basically, the overall monetary environment was very expansionary. So that's why that reflected on this capital market performance. And our turnover went up very high. It was even 126 million US dollar. So you will see some volatility. We don't have a smooth ride because the turnover that happens in the capital market is usually dependent on the available of liquidity among the financial institutions and individual. And our turnover has dropped recently because of, as I said, we have faced some challenges regarding inflation and our currency depreciation and our forex reserve depletion. So our central bank has taken a contractionary monetary policy. Our interest rates are very high right now. So because of that, our turnover has dropped. But once this cycle again, moves to a expansionary direction, our turnover should improve. So there is a cyclicality that we see in our capital market turnover pattern. And if we talk about the, nature of the BO account holders, the beneficiary owners account holders who actually invest in the capital market, we'll see that we actually have around 1.8 million BO accounts. So that is, I would say, pretty low for now, as we have a long way to go in terms of including a large population under the capital market products. So we have a long way to go. So for now, you will see that there are 27,000 accounts who have actually more than 4,000 US dollar in their BO account deposit. So this is their investment amount. So this is the segment that you can see that it's not a big amount, but there is definitely a potential for further growth. And I have been talking about, the structure of the capital market and also turnover. So what is the performance like? You definitely might have that question in your mind, that how the Bangladesh stock market is, how much return it is giving to the investors. So if you look at on a longer horizon, you will see that on a 20 years timeline, the stock market has actually outperformed most other asset classes, rest of the asset classes, right? In the 20-year structure. Even in the 15 years timeline, the stock market has outperformed other asset classes. Other asset classes include, let's say, investment in apartments, the fixed deposit return that we get from a normal bank deposit, and also treasury bond. So among those asset classes, the stock market has outperformed in the 20 years and 15 years landscape. But in the 10 years and 5 years landscape, you would see that it has lagged behind on in terms of few other asset classes. So in the last 10 years, the market has not provided, I would say, the most potential return that it could provide because of certain things, because we had a market crash during 2010 and 11, and there was a slow period, and also we have faced some recent challenges as well. So because of that, stock market hasn't provided better return compared to, let's say, treasury bond in the 5 years and 10 years timeline. But over the 20 years and 15 years timeline, it has provided a better return compared to every other asset classes. So this tells point that Bangladesh stock market has been performing on a longer term basis, because there has been some cyclicality and there has been some volatility. So definitely the longer horizon the investors had, they made a good return. And also I had a point to inform you regarding our stock market crashes. So we have seen major stock market crashes in 1996 and also 2010 and 11. And during COVID, we had I would say, a very short-lived market crash, because after that we recovered very smoothly because of our resilience of the economy, and also because of the monetary support that we received from central bank, the expansionary monetary stance. So during 1996, what we used to have is that it was a very manual process. So manual process of trading. So we had to the investors had to buy paper shares, and then they used to trade these paper shares off the floor. So there was a lot of forgery, and there was a lot of rumor based trading. So that rumor based trading and also forgery actually led to a stock market bubble. And also obviously at that point of time also there was a low interest rate environment, and then central bank took some decision, they raised the interest rates, and also that bubble burst at that time once those rumor based trading got halted. So that was mainly the reason that in 1996 we as a country saw that stock market crash. And during 2010 and 11 there was a series of rally in the, especially during 2009, 10 and 11 we have seen a series of rally. Like in the 3 years the market gave a around 50% return overall. So that was a huge bubble that we saw, and the stock market was trading at a 30 price to earnings multiple back then, and it was the historically highest price to earnings multiple expansion. So there was also a bubble that happened because of that, because of that harding mentality, and as well as also there was a low interest rate environment as well. So after that, we also have seen that many brokerage company actually, gave margin loans at a very, I would say, in a very indisciplined way. I mean, they used to give margin loans to anyone. So margin loans actually increase the level of risk as well. So once the market started falling, we have seen that the margin loan got a very forced sell. So there was a heavy sell off that went on, and that led to a big market crash during 2010 and 11. And that market crash actually kept the market at a very slow and steady point of return position, because once the market crash happened, there was a good amount of time that took for investors to build that confidence and trust to again invest in the stock market. So that was one of the major market crash. So for now, the challenges that we're facing at this now, I think is very much recoverable. And as we have entered into the IMF program as an economy, the Bangladesh is at a reform stage where a lot of reforms are happening. But once those reforms are done, I think Bangladesh market will again get into that positive return momentum. So that was all from my presentation side, and Mr. Anik Mahmood, who is my colleague, will start his part.
Thank you, Saqib sir, for your wonderful insight about the fundamentals of Bangladesh stock market. Now, for my fellow guest, I'll just introduce Mr. Anik, who is also a CFA. Anik Mahmood Anwar has been working as an equity analyst in Bangladesh capital market for around 5 years. Currently, Anik specializes in telecom, pharmaceuticals, and consumer sectors. Prior to joining UCB, he has worked at Unicap Securities Limited, Anik completed his BBA and MBA specializing in finance from University of Dhaka. Anik has been awarded CFA Chartered in 2020. So, Mr. Anik, we look forward to hearing from you. Over to you.
Mr. Srivastava, can you just do one favor?
Yes, sure, please.
Yeah, I'm unable to, stop sharing the screen. Can you just do it on my behalf?
Host, can you please pass the word screen to Anik, sir?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for inviting me to this discussion. My colleague Nazmus already discussed about the market and the economy and the structure of our market, and I will talk about how, as an investor, you can invest in the Bangladesh capital market. So, if you're a local Bangladeshi, you can easily you can start trading at capital market by opening a BO account. You can open a BO account in any brokerage house, and there are basically basic document requirement to open a BO account, which includes passport size photographs. Then there is a national identity card, and you need to also submit bank account details. So there are some additional documents brokerage house might require, and it is wise for customer to give these documents because it gives them some benefits. For example, in Bangladesh, you are subject to capital gain taxes. If you provide TIN or taxpayer identification number, then you will charge lower amount of taxes on your dividend income. For without a TIN, you will be charged around 15% tax on your dividend income. But if you provide your TIN, you will be charged around 10% tax on your dividend income. Then, if you open joint accounts, in that case, you need to provide nominee details. And if you're a foreign investor, you have to also provide proof of income. Let's look at the charges to open a BO account in Bangladesh. If you open a BO account, you can open the account through online or offline. If you open offline, you have to pay 500 taka upfront. It's a one-time payment. And if you open BO account through online, you have to pay 450 taka. These are one-time payment, and you don't have to pay these later. However, every year you have to pay 450 taka. It's a CDBL charge. It's a regulatory requirement, and the customers need to pay this in every year. So let's talk about commission. Normally, as a broker, we charge around 0.2% to 0.4% of the transaction value. So if you are an institutional investor, and if you purchase or you sell stock in bulk volume, certainly we charge less. But however, if you are like individual investor or retail investor, we normally charge higher commission. So the commission is basically depends on how much commission we charge. Basically depends on the transaction amount and the type of investors we are currently dealing with. So let's discuss how can we trade share after opening the BO account. So after opening the BO account, we have to just deposit the money to your broker's account, and then you can simply start trading share. So now let's talk about the settlement cycle. So before I talk about settlement cycle, let's understand the category of stocks in Bangladesh. So currently there are 5 category of stocks: A, B, G, N, and Z category stocks. So basically, this category are given to any particular stock based on their fundamentals. So for example, A category stocks are those who generally provide 10% dividend every year and regularly holds AGM. Whereas B category also provides dividend and holds AGM, but generally they do not provide 10% dividend every year. And there is G and N category stocks. They are basically new stocks that starts trading in capital market. And there is Z category stock. They are basically junk shares. So if you buy A, B, G, or N category stocks in Bangladesh, it gets settled in T+2 days. For example, if you buy shares at Sunday, your share will be settled in Sunday immediately, which means you will see that you bought those share in your BO account or portfolio. However, you cannot sell it until Tuesday has been passed. So on Tuesday, it will be cleared and it will be matured, and after that you can start selling. And then for Z category stock, it is T+3, which means if you buy share on Sunday, the share will be cleared and matured on Wednesday, and after that you will be able to sell those shares. And during the settlement period, if there is holiday or weekends, we don't count those days. So let's just say you are a foreign investor and you want to invest in Bangladesh. So how can you do that? So for foreign investor, apart from opening a BO account, there are some additional steps. For example, you need to open a NITA account. NITA account stands for non-resident Taka account. So this is basically a bank account where your foreign currency converted into cash. Then you have to appoint a custodian bank. Basically, a custodian keeps the custody of your securities and underlying assets. In Bangladesh, there are some MNC banks which acts as a custodian banks. There are some also local banks who acts as a custodian. But foreign investors, they generally prefer the MNC banks because of their global reach. Then you have to open a BO account through a licensed broker. After you open a NITA account, appoint a custodian, and open a BO account, then you have to fund your NITA account, and through which you can start buy or sell shares. So as of now, the foreign investors, there are no limitations on the total amount a foreign investor can buy or a percentage of stocks that a foreign investor can hold. However, foreign investors are subject to capital gain tax on profits, which is similar to local investors. So let's talk about the investor behavior in the Bangladesh stock market. So Bangladesh stock market has always been dominated by the retail customer segment. As you can see, that retail customer holds around 50% of the free float market cap. Whereas institutions hold 41% and foreign investor holds 9%. Although they hold around 50% of the market cap, free float market cap, they actually account for 70% of daily trade volume. So how market behave or react depends largely on how the retail segment is behaving or reacting. So let's see how the institutional segments of Bangladesh is doing. So if we look at the asset management industry in the Bangladesh, you can see that Bangladesh's mutual funds asset under management to GDP ratio is only 0.25%. If we compare it to like our local peers, you can see that this is significantly low. For example, in India, the ratio is 16.2%. So institutional investor, especially Bangladesh mutual fund industry, is lagging behind compared to its peers. And there are basically several reasons behind that. If you can see that the main reason is low financial literacy. Currently, financial literacy rate in Bangladesh is 19%, which means only 19% of adult population know about have basic financial educations. So they don't want to get involved in complex securities like capital market. They prefer traditional investment vehicles, for example, bank FDR or government savings certificate. So then there is already pre-established stigma regarding capital market. For example, my colleague already told you about 1996 capital market crash, then 2010 capital market crash, and very recent capital market is also not doing very good. So they have this very bad sentiments in general public. They have very bad sentiments regarding capital market. So they don't want to get involved in capital market vehicles, and because they don't have the clear, proper understanding of the return and risk dynamics. So apart from these, like asset management companies in Bangladesh also do not have any significant presence in media. So they don't advertise their products efficiently in Bangladesh. This is one of the reasons why asset under management of mutual funds in Bangladesh are very low. So apart from AMCs, there are other institutional investors like banks and insurance companies. But as you can see, right now, overall bank and institutional investors are not very much attracted to the capital market because they have safer and higher return investment vehicles elsewhere. For example, if you look at the current 5-year Bangladesh government treasury bond yield, you can see that it is currently trading at above 12%, which is which is around 12 years historical high. So they prefer a safer return. It's a risk-free return, and it's a very high return. So they don't want to take the risk of the capital market. At the same time, they are actually channeling their funds in government securities, which is providing much higher return right now. So let's look at the foreign portfolio investment situation right now. So you can see that from 2014 to 2010, we have seen significant foreign investment in inflow. However, after 2010, foreign portfolio investment is slowing down. So there are several reasons. For example, after the pandemic, a number of stocks or companies are not doing very well. They are still coping up with the aftershock of the pandemic. Then we have seen the devaluation of local currency. Taka has depreciated over 25% in last 2 years. Then there are some controversial and unconventional decisions from the regulators. For example, setting up a floor price. So basically, if you don't know floor price is basically a stated price by the regulator below which a particular stock cannot fall. So this floor price implementation has significantly dried up the liquidity scenario of the capital market of Bangladesh. Then there are also further fear of devaluation of currency, and last but not the least, if you see that since the crash of 2008, US market is currently has seen a historical bull run. So for frontier market managers, it is very difficult to justify to invest in the frontier market, because frontier market deals with a lot of risk. For example, there are some structural risk, currency risk, political risk. So they prefer to invest. Foreign investors prefer to invest in the USA or other developed countries, since they are actually giving you a very handsome return. So lack of participation from the foreign investor and local institutions and more investment from retail investors actually led us to a scenario where market is driven by speculative stocks. So if you look at this graph, you can see that turnover to market cap ratio of Bangladesh is very high since 2021. So this ratio indicates the higher the ratio, higher ratio indicates that market participants are more active in trading, more active in speculative stocks. The lower, on the other hand, lower ratio indicates that market participants are more invested in fundamental stocks. So recently we've seen that this ratio has increased to 65%, whereas in last 10 years the average is 37%. So this it clearly indicates that market participants are very much involved in the speculative stocks, and since speculative stocks are risky, this does not end up in a good result for the market participants. And so in Bangladesh, the investors, the common mistakes that investors are currently making are they don't have lack of investment plan or goals, and they are chasing hot stocks. They have FOMO, and they are also panic selling when market is fluctuating. So these are the current scenario in Bangladesh. So to develop these things, the regulator and has taken some awareness program. For example, our regulator, Bangladesh Securities and Exchange Commissions, frequently it's a continuous arrange a continuous program named Investor Education Program. Then both the stock exchange for DSE and CSE runs a financial literacy program. Apart from them, like brokerage house like us continuously do some corporate and CSR initiatives. For example, we introduced financial advisory program where through very regular, very difficult process, we have given a financial advisory certificate to some traders who will not only solve your capital market program, but your total money related problems also. So there are other government institutions dedicated for capital market improvement. For example, there are Bangladesh Institute of Capital Market, and there are Bangladesh Academy for Securities Market. They provide masters and other related educational programs for improvement of the investment awareness of Bangladesh. So thank you. That's all from me. So if you have any questions, we'd like to take that.
Thank you, Sakib and Anwar sir, for your insightful presentation about the economy, the industry, and the company itself. So now we are moving into the Q&A segment. As we all know, we had taken some questions to the speakers from the Google Form itself. First, I would like to invite speakers to answer those questions first.
Okay. Thank you, Sohardo. So basically, we have received few questions. So first question that was about what factors influence market trends and how do you keep up with these trends? So, in our market, we have seen historically, looking at the market cycle. We have seen that macro factors have been one of the major influences in the market trends, especially the money supply cycle and interest rate cycle. So we have seen that, looking at, let's say, last 20 years of data, we have seen that market, especially the performance of the DSC index, the Dhaka Stock Exchange Index, has been inversely correlated with the interest rate cycle. So whenever there is interest rate going up, the market usually goes down, and whenever the interest rate gets low, the low trend, the market went up. So basically, the monetary environment that we have has been a very influential factors in moving the market. Obviously, the company earnings also, and the industry or sector earnings has been also another factors. Whenever there is a growth in the economy, let's say accelerated growth in the economy, we usually see that the companies are giving good earnings, good EPS. So EPS obviously drive the the expected EPS growth actually drive the let's say stock prices. But at the same time, the interest rate cycle, the availability of liquidity also drive the market. So whenever there is a lack of liquidity or lack of money supply, the money supply growth, we see that the market usually moves in the downward trend. So these factors, actually the macro factors and also company specific factors, do move the needles. The next question that I have received that we haven't covered in our discussion is that how do political events and legislation impact the capital market, and how do businesses prepare for these changes? So if we look at the our market performance during the election period, we will see that there is usually more volatility, because obviously people have this expectation or have this uncertainty that which political power will stay, or if there is going to be any changes. So because of those uncertainties, usually the market usually remains very volatile. So that definitely puts impact. But if there is stability in the, let's say, in the election period and also in the aftermath, then it doesn't really put a much significant impact on the capital market performance or the stock market performance. And also, how do businesses prepare for these changes? Usually businesses cut back on their capital expenditure during election period. Obviously they adopt a wait and see approach, because definitely they want to see that how this election period evolves and how the aftermath of the election period evolves, and after that they again run their operations as they would in a normal circumstances. So that definitely put an impact, but so far we have seen that that has been a very short-term oriented impact on the market. And also there is an interesting question that I have received, is that what are the most promising sectors for investment in the Bangladesh capital market recently? So we have seen that there are few sectors that have outperformed. For instance, consumer sector, as I have talked about, that we have a very growing consumer class. So in the consumer sector, we have seen that usually the companies have the pricing power. Whenever they see a rising cost of raw materials, they can pass it on to the customers, because our consumer demand is pretty high and consumer class is growing. So consumer companies has been doing very well, and also pharmaceutical companies, which you can put under the consumer sector as well. So pharmaceutical companies has been doing very well as well. And also telecommunication sector have done pretty well in the last 2 decades. So these are the probably one of the few sectors that have outperformed in the market. And there's another question that I have received, is how does Bangladesh approach investor education and awareness? As my colleague has already informed you regarding the financial literacy program nationwide that we carry on, and also the brokerage firms individually, they also do their investor education program as well on a regular basis, and also they train their employees so that they become a financial advisor to their clients as well. So these are the forms of education or awareness program that we do. Okay, so another thing is that how do analysts and investors in Bangladesh use market sentiment to make investment decisions? Are there any similarities in their approaches? Okay, so basically what we do is we always try to look at the macro factors, and also the macro factors actually drive a lot of market sentiment. So we don't do, let's say, bottom-up analysis in market sentiment. We always look in the top-down format. Whenever there is a macro drivers, we try to understand how these changes in macro drivers will impact the market sentiment. So definitely we do that kind of analysis as well. So I think these are the questions that we have received that we haven't covered in our presentation. Any more questions is pretty
So I've
welcome.
just received 2-3 questions via text message. Meanwhile,
Okay.
before I ask, sir, meanwhile, if anyone wants to ask any other question, you can type it in the chat box itself. So the questions which I've received is, sir, has categorizing the stocks made it easier for investors to make decision on which stocks to invest in? Categorizing by A, B, G, and Z. Has it made it easy for investors to secure their money or make better investments?
Categorizing the stock has definitely helped the stock help the investor to take the decisions better, because A category stocks are the fundamentally strongest. So they are continuously provide dividends. They have profitable business. They hold AGM regularly. So they are the fundamentally strongest. And then there is B category stock, which are not as strong as A category stocks, but they are still better than Z category stocks. So whenever investors see that A, B, or Z, they have they can easily make decisions. If I want to invest in a fundamentally strong company, I can invest in A category stock. On the other hand, if the investors want to speculate, most likely they would invest in B or Z category stocks. So certainly it has helped a lot.
The other question I've received is, I think it will be helpful for all of us. What are the stock market timing? What are the trading days? What is the circuit cap? It's different across all countries. So if you could enlighten us on that. Which all days are trading days? What is the timing of stock market? What is the circuit category?
Okay, so our trading day starts on Sunday and it continues till Thursday. Our trading time is 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. The starting trigger is for increase, it is 10%. But right now, in recent regulation, regulator has decided to decrease the lower circuit to 3% for most of the stocks. So yeah, I guess that's answer your question.
Yes, sir. And so what is the most preferable asset class? Equity, derivative, debts in terms of turnover? What is the most preferable asset class? Equity, derivative, debts in terms of turnover?
So basically, in terms of turnover, equity is the most traded asset class in our stock exchange. Derivatives is not there yet. Our stock exchanges and also our regulator is trying to bring the derivative products so that our asset class expands further. But so far it's equity driven stock exchanges. And in terms of debt, recently treasury securities got listed in our stock exchanges, but the turnover is pretty low because most of the trading of the treasury securities is happening in the central bank has this module or platform where the most of the trading is happening. It's still not active in the stock exchanges. but it is happening in a different platform. So in terms of that, the equity market, the equity asset class has the most turnover.
Thank you, sir. And I think this is something which in Nepal, we have two categories of capital gain tax, short-term and long-term. As you were mentioning, we have TIN number. If anyone has given TIN number, it's 15%. If not, it's 10%. Do you also have short-term and long-term categories for taxation,
No.
capital gain tax?
No, not all as of yet, but maybe they will. They may change it later, but there is no categorization of how much capital gain tax will be there. For further explanation, I would just like to add that if an individual earns a capital gain, there will be no tax. So there is no tax for capital gain on individuals, but an institution will be charged a 15% tax on the capital gain. The individual will only be taxed on the dividend income.
Okay.
So that's where the requirement of tax identification number, the TIN, comes in. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, sir. I'd like to ask all our guests if you have any other question, you can type in the chat box. Our speakers will answer that for you. We'll take another 2-3 questions. I think we have one from Biplab Paudel. Can you please type so that we can all see?
Hello, may I speak?
Yes, sure, Biplab.
Hello everyone, myself Biplab Paudel, and I am a student of Central Department of Management, Tribhuvan University from Kathmandu, Nepal. So I have basically two questions. The first one is, what is the process of establishment of a company in Bangladesh from the establishment to listing in secondary market? So could you please elaborate on that, how a company can listed in secondary market? And another question is there any linkage between the changes in fiscal and monetary policy, and that changes can reflect in the financial market of Bangladesh? So basically I have got two questions. So thank you.
Okay, so in order to establish a company, depends on the type of company you are forming. If you're a public limited company, you have to form according to company's law, and you have to collect regulatory you have to collect and you have to fulfill the regulatory requirements. For example, you have to have a memorandum of associations and all those documents regarding to open a public limited company. And if you want to get listed in the capital market, there is there is not much requirement. There is just one requirement, that you have to be profitable in the past 5 years. If you are profitable in the past 5 years, and if you have paid up capital of around 10 crore taka, then you can get listed in the capital market of Bangladesh. And I'd like to clarify one thing, that there is basically two types of capital market, the main board and the SME board. So in the SME board, a company can remain listed till their paid up capital is 30 crore. But if your paid up capital is above 30 crore, you have to get listed in the main board. So I guess that's the answer of your first question. So can you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So what was the second question?
The second question is how the changes in monetary and fiscal policy can affect in the financial market of Bangladesh.
Okay, so monetary and fiscal policy has significant impact on the capital market of Bangladesh.
You can please describe by giving some examples that can really affect the financial market of Bangladesh, if there is some example.
Okay, I think Saqib should answer this question.
So basically, okay, let me give you an example. For instance, recently our monetary policy that central bank undertook is that they raised their policy rate. So whenever there is an increase of policy rate, that means the cost of borrowing for the banks and financial institutions will go up, and they will also pass it on the lending rate. So lending rate will also go up, and also overall the interest rate environment will go on a upward trend, right? So whenever there is an interest rate spike, so that means that one can invest in the fixed income securities, for instance, let's say treasury bond or fixed deposit. They will get a very good return in terms of if we just solely look at the potential return that they can earn, because the interest rate is very high in all those asset classes, the fixed income asset classes. And because of that, the investors will lose appetite for investing in the stock market, because they are already getting a very good return from a low risk asset classes, right? So whenever there is a contractionary monetary policy, let's say they're raising policy rate, they're lowering the, let's say, money supply growth. Whenever there is a, let's say, money supply growth is on the downward trend, that means that money supply is moving at a slower rate in the financial industry, right? So most banks and financial institutions will have a very low liquidity or low money supply. So that those institutions will also not be able to, invest in the stock market in a greater amount. So these contractionary monetary policy actually impact negatively in the stock market. On the other hand, if they took opposite stance, which they took during the COVID period, they lowered their policy rate, they increased the money supply, they issued a lot of refinancing scheme, which actually means that they have issued a lot of new currency and all those things. So they took an expansionary monetary policy, and interest rate was very low. So that time, investors were more attracted to the equity market, and they invested in equity market heavily, which actually pushed up the overall index. So these are the sort of monetary stances that impact the equity market. And in terms of fiscal policy, whenever the fiscal policy is expansionary, that means that the government is allocating more budgets for the government projects and their annual development program. So whenever there is a greater amount of spending, that means that the economy is getting a lot of stimulation from those spending. So usually the economy grow at a very accelerated rate, and also businesses get a lot of benefit from out of it because of those acceleration, and they usually post a very high EPS, earnings per share, high profitability. So that actually is a positive aspect that happens on the company's earnings, and that is reflected on the stock price as well. And whenever there is a contractionary fiscal policy, let's say they are allocating less amount in the budget, the economy slows down for a bit, and there is a short-term impact on the company's earnings, which also gets reflected on the stock price, and stock price moves down. So these are the example that you can think of when you want to understand that how fiscal policy and monetary policy impacts.
And Sakib sir, I would also like you to check a chat. We have a fellow stockbroker, Nitish sir, who has asked us a very nice question. I would like to request you to kindly answer that as well.
Yeah, so the question is there any credit facility provided to investors from brokers? Yes, brokers provide credit facility in the form of margin loan. So we have a margin loan ratio that we maintain, that sometimes it's 1:1 and sometimes it's 1:0.8, given the regulatory requirements. Regulatory requirements sometimes changes, but it doesn't cross 1:1. So if investor has, let's say, 100 taka, 100 in BDT as a equity investment, they can take a 100 taka loan for further purchasing the stock. So there is definitely a credit facility that we provide, but we also take risk assessment to provide that margin loan. And also margin loan is not available for buying all the stocks. Some are the stocks that are trading at a very high multiples, that means high price to earnings. Those stocks can't be bought from that margin loan. So there is a categorization of stocks, whether that stock is marginable or non-marginable. So the non-marginable stocks can't don't get the so investors don't get the loans for buying non-marginable stocks. So that's the point that I want to make. And also you have asked that can investors take loan from BFIs for the sole purpose of investing or trading in the stock market? No, they can't take loan from, let's say, banks or financial institutions, for purchasing equities. They can only take loans from brokers, and also they can take loans from investment banks or merchant banks for buying the stocks. So that is the regulation here. I think there is another question. Should I move on?
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, okay. So it is said currently there is a persisting fall of the indices driven by the prolonged economic crisis in Bangladesh stock market. What would be your move in current situation as a equity analyst? So basically, as an equity analyst, what we do is we try to understand what is the direction the economy is moving towards, and what is the direction the market will move towards based on the macroeconomic conditions, right? So basically, as an equity analyst, we are looking at these developments. For now, we are seeing that the outlook in the short term is still there is a lot to do from the regulatory side. They will probably have to do some reforms and keep the reforms that they have made in the recent times and keep the contractionary monetary stance for a while, and then probably market will turn around. So what we do is, as equity analysts, is we keep updating our clients about the recent macro developments and about our outlook. So those are the things that we do frequently, that we communicate with our clients, both local institutional clients, sometimes retail clients as well, and also foreign institutional clients. Foreign institutional clients keep give us query about the changes that are happening in the macro front. So those are the things that we do.
We have another question from another fellow stockbroker, Sulabh Shrestha.
Okay. Yeah. How does broker in Bangladesh take loan or increase their leverage capacity? Yeah, to increase their margin lending capacity that they can disburse to their investors. Second question, has regulator any say on type or list of company on which? Yeah. So the first question regarding the stockbroker can give loans in, can source their funding for giving margin loans in two ways. One is they can give the loans from their paid up capital, the paid up capital that they have that are unused. They can either use it as for their own investment in equities or other asset classes, or they can lend that amount as the form of margin lending. And also they can take loan from banks as well. So a broker can take loans from banks, and then they can lend that money to the investor. And doing that, they can earn a spread. So they have a cost of fund since they're borrowing from a bank, and they will charge a lending rate on the margin loan. So there is a spread that they earn from that process. For instance, our company, UCB Stock Brokerage, has a parent company, which is a bank. So we take loans from the parent company, and then we lend it to and also we lend it from our paid up capital as well. So these are the two sources of funds that we seek after. And the second question is, has regulatory? Yeah, I have mentioned it already, that yes, there is a type or list of company on which margin lending can be provided. So the general rule is set by the BSEC, the Bangladesh Securities and Exchange Commission, is that any company that has a 40 price to earnings or above can't be given margin loan, and the stocks that are below that can be. This is a very general rule. And also in terms of category Z category can't receive margin loans, that is also there. I think there is another question, right? Are there any recent examples of significant cross-border investments or partnerships that have influenced Bangladeshi capital market? So one of the cross-border investments or partnerships, I would say this is more of a partnerships that we saw during 2016 and 17, during 17 and 18, is that China became a partner in the Dhaka Stock Exchange. That hasn't yet created any significant impact yet, but in the future, we hope that there can be some, technical or let's say there can be some technology related partnership that can happen within, let's say, that China consortium and Bangladesh that may impact, the capital market of Bangladesh. And also we are trying to partner with multi-commodity exchange in India. That is being done by Chittagong Stock Exchange to launch the derivative asset class. So that is an ongoing process as well. So we hope to see something good to come out of it. So yeah, that's the update on that.
Thank you so much, Sakib and Anwar sir, for your exceptional discourse and valuable time. So I would, on my
It's our
personal,
pleasure. Thank you so much.
On my personal behalf, I would also like to thank Mr. Sakib Chaudhary for making this event possible with collaboration. And without further ado, I'd like to invite Mr. Srivastav for a vote of thanks and closing remarks.
Thank you, Sohadra. So when we were planning this event, we did contact a lot of brokers. But when Sohadra came to me with Bangladesh, I said, let's go ahead with it. Having studied in Bangladesh, I have a lot of Bangladeshi friends. I've told Sakib sir about it as well. I said, it's a nice place to be. In fact, language Bengali and Nepali are pretty much similar as well.
Yeah.
So I said, let's move ahead with it. And then we were planning about what kind of sessions shall we host. Initially, we were planning to have two-way session, but we said no. In the first phase, we will have our friends in Bangladesh present us the session. In the next phase, we will have ourselves, Nepalese. We will be presenting our insights on Nepalese capital market. We will decide upon the date and will inform others as well. Now, we have invited some esteemed guests. I would like to thank each one of you. Dr. Navraj Adhikari, who is Executive Director of SIBON. SIBON is the regulator in Nepal. Mr. Niranjan Fuyal, who is Senior Manager of Nepal Stock Exchange. We've also invited some academic professionals, Dr. Jitendra Dangol, Associate Professor Dr. Govind Tamang, Associate Professor Dr. Bharat Singh Thaba, Associate, and then we also have some stockbrokers, Santosh Mainali Secured Securities, Parmeswar Bhakta Malla and Malla Securities, Nitesh Sir, ABC Securities, Durganand Jat, Chief Investment Officer, Prabhu Capital. And when we were discussing, I told Sakib sir, we want to involve college students as well. It'll give them an exposure as to how the market is there, and it'll make them more curious so that they end up getting more knowledge. So we have college participants from Central Department of Management, TU Tribhuvan University, School of Management Tribhuvan University, Kathmandu University of Management, British College, and our fellow advisor, Bikram Chitrakar from Beta Analytics. Now, to conclude, I would first like to thank Mr. Anik and Mr. Sakib for accepting this role, for giving us your valuable time, sharing us sharing us all your valuable inputs, and all our guests as well who've come here, who've shown us, who's actively participated, who've asked questions, who've made it engaging. I would like to thank each one of you. We'll discuss with Sakib sir, and we'll plan out when the next phase of event will be, when we will be presenting, and we'll come up with date and we'll share with you. We hope all of you had a wonderful time. We've all learned something from our neighboring country, and hope to see you again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day, sir.
Have a good day.